The confirmation hearing for Ketanji Brown Jackson is underway while I shoot this video. Why does the Supreme Court matter? And how are Supreme Court justices appointed? I can tell you now that they're not elected. The question is, should they be elected? The decisions made by your government impact you and other people around the world. Are they making the right decisions? And if you could vote on them, how would you vote? If you're new to my content, One Direct Democracy is a movement for upgrading the global democratic system by taking the power away from politicians and putting it in the hands of the people with direct democracy. It'll also eliminate left and right-wing politics. I've created the technology and a plan for how to make it work. If you want more information about it, check out the links in the description. For each episode, I'll pick an important issue, outline the problem, talk about the solutions, and then you can decide how you would vote. In this case, we're talking about how Supreme Court justices should be appointed. Okay, if you're just looking for another talking head that isn't actually interested in doing anything, you're in the wrong place. If you want to be part of the solution, let's get into it. So what is the Supreme Court? Let's listen to this explanation from Professor David Schultz on PBS.
The Supreme Court was established to provide a final court in the United States to give definitive interpretations regarding what the Constitution means. And that's important because under the United States' first Constitution, called the Articles of Confederation, we didn't have a Supreme Court. The result was many interpretations of the law and no real consensus.
According to this article from supremecourt.gov, the court is the highest tribunal in the nation for all cases and controversies arising under the Constitution or the laws of the United States. As the final arbiter of the law, the court is charged with ensuring the American people the promise of equal justice under the law, and thereby also functions as a guardian and interpreter of the Constitution. So the simple summary is that the court exists to be the final arbiter of the law and to interpret any disputes around the Constitution. As for the number of justices on the court, the article goes on to say, the Supreme Court consists of the Chief Justice of the United States and such number of associate justices as may be fixed by Congress. The number of associate justices is currently fixed at 8. Power to nominate the justices is vested in the President of the United States, and appointments are made with the advice and consent of the Senate. Okay, so how are Supreme Court justices appointed? Let's listen in on this explanation from Ted Ed.
Because the Constitution doesn't specify any qualifications, in other words, that there's no age, education, profession, or even native-born citizenship requirement, a president can nominate any individual to serve. So far, 6 justices have been foreign-born. At least one never graduated from high school, and another was only 32 years old when he joined the bench.
According to supremecourt.gov, the President nominates someone for a vacancy on the court and the Senate votes to confirm the nominee, which requires a simple majority. In this way, both the executive and legislative branches of the federal government have a voice in the composition of the Supreme Court. Okay, so what role does politics play in the selection of a Supreme Court justice? Let's listen to this explanation from Ted Ed.
The nominee is interviewed about their law record, if applicable, and where they stand on key issues to discern how they might vote. And especially in more recent history, the committee tries to unearth any dark secrets or past indiscretions. The Judiciary Committee votes to send the nomination to the full Senate with a positive or negative recommendation, often reflective of political leanings, or no recommendation at all. Most rejections have happened when the Senate majority has been a different political party than the president.
Okay, are there any qualifications required to be a Supreme Court justice? The Constitution does not specify qualifications for justices such as age, education, profession, or native-born citizenship. A justice does not have to be a lawyer or a law school graduate, but all justices have been trained in the law. Many of the 18th and 19th century justices studied law under a mentor because there were few law schools in the country. So it's interesting to see that you don't even have to be a lawyer to be a Supreme Court justice. Okay, what is the term limit for a Supreme Court justice? The Constitution states that justices shall hold their office during good behavior. This means that the justices hold office as long as they choose and can only be removed from office by impeachment. So there are no term limits. It's a job for life. Okay, has any Supreme Court justice been impeached? The only justice to be impeached was Associate Justice Samuel Chase in 1805. The House of Representatives passed articles of impeachment against him. However, he was acquitted by the Senate. So he was impeached, but not removed from the Supreme Court. Okay, so who decides how many Supreme Justices there are on the court, and has the number always been 9? The Constitution places the power to determine the number of justices in the hands of the Congress. The first Judiciary Act, passed in 1789, set the number of justices as 6, 1 Chief Justice and 5 associates. Over the years, Congress has passed various acts to change this number, fluctuating from as low as 5 to a high of 10. The Judiciary Act of 1869 fixed the number of justices at 9, and no subsequent change to the number of justices has occurred. Okay, so Congress does have the power to increase and decrease the number of justices on the court. Okay, so the major issue here is that Supreme Court justices are very powerful, yet they are not elected. Should they be elected? Let's listen to Professor David Schultz on PBS.
I mean, think about what happens if we don't like the president, if we don't like our senator or a member of Congress. What can we do? Eventually vote them out of office. But we can't vote the Supreme Court out of office because, what, the president appoints, the Senate confirms, and subject to good behavior, they're there for life. And this poses a problem because at least many of us think that in American democracy that policies, laws should be made by those people who are electorally accountable. What I mean by that, by people who we elect. Yet the Supreme Court, unelected individuals, 9 people, get to make some of the most critical decisions in our society, and we cannot elect them.
The other important question is whether there should be term limits.
Hope was, by having them appointed by the president, subject to Senate confirmation, it would insulate them from politics so that they could make decisions based upon what they thought the law was as opposed to what politics was.
So the reason that we want powerful people to be elected and to have term limits is that we know that they're probably going to be biased. So that's the summary of the Supreme Court and how Supreme Court justices are appointed. The question is, should they be elected and should they have term limits? Let me know what you think in the comments. The reality is that we've reached a point in time in our evolution where representative democracy no longer serves the will of the people, and technology has solved the issues that made direct democracy impractical. That's why I created One Direct Democracy. It's a movement for upgrading the global democratic system by taking the power away from politicians and putting it in the hands of the people by using direct democracy. I've created the technology and a plan for how to make it work. We also don't need to convince any politicians or powerful people to do anything to make this happen. We have the power to make it happen ourselves. We just have to make a decision to do it. If you're new to all of this and you have no idea what I'm talking about, check out the other videos on my channel and the links in the description. Direct democracy is the purest form of democracy. Representative democracy is an outdated, blunt instrument.